Yo. Excuse me. Probably mid chew. Uh, we are rocking out with our special episode, a crossover Super Bowl reaction show. This is the show where we talk about the Super Bowl. Right now, I'm rocking out with Andre and Amina. Matt and Trey should be in shortly. So go ahead, Andre, reintroduce yourself.
Well, some know me by Dre Terry, some know me by Andre. But I'm gonna want to say I'm an Eagles fan, die hard. I'm so glad I could see this day. Let's go! That's what I'm talking about, baby. We on top, baby. People gotta give us some respect. No more nonsense talk.
Go ahead, Amina.
Hey everyone, this is Amina joining you all for a special Super Bowl edition of our podcast, and let's get started.
All right, y'all. So y'all know how we what? Actually, it's our regular podcast. Oops, sorry, regular podcast. So our first question, guys: Did the Eagles win it, or did the Patriot? Did the Eagles win it, or did the Patriots lose it? Go ahead, Andre.
Absolutely, 100%. The Eagles won it because it came down to the last couple seconds on the clock. You know, the question is rhetorical. It really is. It was a magnificent Super Bowl. It wasn't a boring Super Bowl. It wasn't a blowout. You know, of course, I wish the defense could have showed up a little bit more. You know, I like to see them dominate and smack Tom Brady around. Even though we get a couple shots, we did get a couple shots in there, but we absolutely won that Super Bowl. And we deserve that. We deserve all the praises coming to us.
Amina.
I would have to say it's a little bit of both. Um, First and foremost, congratulations to the Eagles on accomplishing something that many Eagles fans didn't live to see. The Eagles winning their first Super Bowl. Um, but in regards to the question, as I said, I believe it's a little bit of both. For the Eagles, it's the win because of the obvious, but it's also because all season, even as far back as training camp last summer, preseason last summer, um, the earlier portion of the regular season, like around when fall was starting, up until before the game started on Sunday, the Eagles were called underdogs earlier in the season. They People were predicting that they were going to finish fourth and last in the NFC East, which turned out to not be true because that honor was given to the Giants. Um, they were also People were also saying that they will not have a good season because of the developing roster that they have. How Carson Wentz, he was only here 1 year
Thank you,
prior.
thank you for pointing all this out. I mean, I love you for this.
Um, how Doug Peterson, how not many coaches in their entire coaching career can accomplish the Super Bowl, and how it was his second year with the team, and how he accomplished that so early on with this team, which means that he'll be going down in history books for what he accomplished. Um, and also, I think it's also contributed to the faith backgrounds. I've said it a few times before in other episodes, but I'll say it again that it's also, the saying in the scripture, faith without works is dead. And from what I understand, before a lot of their games, they have prayer time, they read scripture, and they do prayer circles, especially when it was playoffs. And they went through this whole entire season praying, worshiping, and all that. So this was not just a regular team that just got out there and played. This was a very spiritual team, and they put God first. So that was a win in itself for them. They just went out and did what needed to be done. They take my saying literally. Take
Amen.
one game, take one game at a time. Um, Patriots lost for them. I can see the dwindling of the power structure that is out there in Boston, and it's not. It didn't start with this Super Bowl. It started with last Super Bowl when they played in Super Bowl 51 against the Falcons. In spite of the fact that the Patriots won last season, they barely did. At some point of the game, they were losing by 25 points. Tom Brady couldn't keep up. They literally only won a Super Bowl by chance. Chance and refs. That's all. The only reason why they got that win. And this Super Bowl, to me, the Patriots, they didn't. I don't know what happened. Like they were in Minnesota for an entire week, which means they had plenty of opportunities to get some last minute practices in. All the preseason, they should, not preseason, all the postseason during the playoffs, they should have been getting necessary practices in since they knew that they was going to be going back to the Super Bowl. But they didn't. I don't think the coaching staff showed up. The entire game on Sunday, Bill Belichick was on the sidelines, just angry and pissed off because he knew that the team was not prepared from the jump. They, to me, I believe that the Patriots thought this was the Eagles team from 2004 or 5 season, and this was not. Patriots, they were severely underprepared for what came to them, and it showed out. I mean, Tom Brady, he was out there trying to make field goals and touchdowns, and every time he tried, he got outran by the players on the Eagles. Eagles, I don't know what they did, but they obviously went to go study Super Bowl games prior to, because the way that they played on that field, they were running circles and derailing the Patriots' moves on that field. Like Patriots tried to do something, and here come a member of the Eagles team tackling him down to the ground. I was like, wow. So this is a big major loss for the Patriots. I don't know what the future of that team is going to be for this coming season, going into training camp. But all I know is that something needs to be done. But I don't care about that team anyway. But it needs to be done regardless because this team's falling apart. They no longer have the drive, and it comes to find out. Also, a member of their team was come to find out breaking team policies for the Super Bowl. Had narcotics on them and stuff, so that really damaged their image. This Super Bowl in itself, like they really just flat out lost. They didn't come prepared. So, but Nick Foles showed up and showed out as he was supposed to, and hey, it was just a beautiful game. I can't say nothing more else about this question. 41 and 33. Wow. This the score was even higher than I thought it would have been. I thought it would have been 20 something to 20 something, but dang, 41 to 33. This was a great historic Super Bowl that people will be talking about for many years to come. And congrats to the Eagles for winning their first Super Bowl.
Well, look, I ain't got nothing more to add. I mean, the Patriots, well, it's a combination of both, as Amina said. And the Patriots, the Eagles won it, obviously. And the Patriots lost it as well. I mean, let's be real. Andre and I were at a Super Bowl party, and so was Trey. When the Patriots went up, everybody, except for me, everybody went silence. Everybody had lost the faith. I had to pump the people I was with up. I had to, I had to say, y'all got to keep the faith. Y'all got to keep the faith because the faith had gone out of that building besides me. And the Eagles just proved everybody wrong. Most teams like the Falcons and the Jaguars and the Seahawks would have folded. But Doug Peterson coached them up. And we went on a long drive. We had a Cowboys fan in there that would say, "It's all right, gentlemen, it's all right." But when the Eagles, I was all like, I told the people I was with, "Hold on, brothers, it's only a 1-point lead with 9 minutes left, 9 minutes and 22 seconds to be exact. Y'all acting like it's a 10-point lead. It's only a 1-point lead, and to watch the Eagles just march down there." Just strategically and vicariously through the Patriots defense like they weren't even there. I mean, they were doing it all night. They were just marching up and down, up and down, up and down like the Patriots just weren't even there. And that touchdown to Zach Ertz. By the way, Chris Collinsworth should never call a football game when the Patriots and Eagles are involved ever again. His bias calling. And we had so much there, but in that touchdown, that was like the city of Philadelphia and the Philadelphia Eagles just punching Boston in the New England area in the face with what was going on, man. That touchdown by Zach Ertz. St. Nick showed up. St. Nick always delivers. He showed up and showed out with that touchdown, man. And 3 touchdowns, 373 yards, 41, the most points scored in Super Bowl history, 74 points. The most yards gained in Super Bowl history, 1,000 points. This was an offensive, very, very offensive Super Bowl. And some people are mad. I don't know if they're more mad because the Eagles won or the fact that so many experts didn't learn their lesson from the previous 3 games and stopped picking against my Eagles. The Eagles showed up and showed out. The defense showed up when it had to, showed who was more clutch, Tom Brady or the Eagles defense. And the Eagles defense showed up. The Patriots acting like they were facing any other AFC team or any other NFC team. They thought that that we were the Seahawks or the Falcons, that we would just fold. We don't fold to anybody. We're Philadelphia. We don't care who you are. We don't care what city you're from. Come in here, run your mouth, and face us and get knocked out. And that's what happened to the Patriots. They got knocked out. They just couldn't do it. They couldn't keep up. The Eagles out-Patriots the Patriots. They played hard. They went hard. They made adjustments to the adjustments. Shouts out to Doug Peterson. We're gonna get to this in a minute. Doug Peterson played or coached the game of his life and proved that he is the coach of the year. You know that? It's not Sean McVay. It's Doug Big Balls Peterson. The Eagles won it because they out-Patriots the Patriots. They played the game. They adjusted. They kept their foot on the Patriots' neck. Didn't let them do what they wanted to do. And to Amina's point, they kept going to shots of Matt Patricia or Bill Belichick. They showed Tom Brady crying as the Patriots D just couldn't stop us because we're the Eagles. The Eagles did this to the Vikings, who are a way better defense than the Patriots. The Eagles did that to the Vikings defense. The Vikings have the best freaking defense in the league. The Eagles have the 3rd best defense in the league. And this was kind of spelled out fell down when we faced the Broncos and put 52 points on them. It's like a lot of people weren't paying attention this regular season. It didn't matter if it was Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. It didn't really matter because the Eagles were going to throw and run you over no matter what you were doing. That's what we did all season. That is what we did all season. We run it down your throats, and then we throw it deep down your throats. You know, the Eagles did what they did, and the Patriots did lose it because their defense didn't show up. Bill Belichick should have played Malcolm Butler. You know, and I think that was a lot of what had a lot to do with it too. He just couldn't believe that they came in arrogant. There's no better way to put it. The Patriots came in arrogant, and the Eagles showed them that arrogance doesn't pay off when you're facing a team from Philly. That's all. That's all I got. So moving on to our next question. Guys, what happened to both of these defenses? 74 points. That was more than I had them scoring. 74 points. Andre, go ahead. Tell us what happened to these defenses.
Well, I mean, it's been a long time coming. I don't know if y'all know this. I'm sure y'all know this because y'all both smart. The league has set it up in a way where it's just easier for offenses to score. You know, all these ticky-tack fouls and not letting guys really play. I wish we could go back to a time that, everything wouldn't be a call. If we get locked up or it's like, you got to look at certain stuff and say, you know what? They just got tangled up. That's it. I can't call pass interference on this. But what really happened to these defenses, they saw two great offenses. So two good defenses can't stop great offense. They just can't. You need a great defense to stop a great offense. Or I'll even go bigger than that, superior. A superior defense to stop a great offense. Especially when you got Tom Brady at the helm and Belichick back there. And you got Dougie P, represent baby, Nikki Six, and Nick We Trust, baby. Oh man, these offenses have been on fire the whole season. Especially ours. If I do say so myself. We've been leading the way. We've scored more points than most teams in the league. We were on top. Just taking a look at the Eagles season. We had the best record for majority of the season. Nobody ever had a better record than us. They matched our record, but they never had a better record than us. This was our season. That's why it feels so good, man. That's why going up and down Broad Street, coming out and partying right after the Super Bowl felt great. And it's going to feel even better come parade day. I mean, get your cameras, get your popcorn. It's going to be a beautiful. I mean, the ride is free. We want you to come down. 3 million. Come on. We want you to come down. We got old players coming back, feeling love. Hugh Douglas is on 94.1 today. He said, you know what? When you become an Eagle, it's family. That's what it feels like to be here.
Amina, go ahead. Amina, you there?
Yeah, I was here. I was on. Concerning the defenses for both teams, Eagles they showed up. Excuse me. Eagles they showed up very prepared and ready for business. They took this very seriously. and their defense was at all-time high. Um, Patriots, I think they got burnt out. Seriously, contributed to Tom Brady's 40-year-old self, and um, the poor coaching staff this season they had, Bill Belichick's ignorance, and them thinking that they're the NFL gods when they're not. That all dismantle their hopes and dreams of winning back-to-back Super Bowls. Um, Eagles, regardless to whether it's Wentz or Foles or whoever else, they all have strong defense skills. Like it's like they were dancing across. It was like Nick Foles and the rest of the team were dancing on that field. Like it was not even like they were tackling and making touchdowns. It was like they was dancing with the football. It was a Super Bowl that like I said in the last question, we're definitely going to be talking about that for for years to come. But that defense, like they've mastered how to play football, the team. And I haven't been able to say that about the Eagles at any point in my life, but the team they've literally mastered how to play football, and it's amazing that they have mastered it and they have won the Super Bowl. And the defense of the Patriots, it's going down the toilet. I mean, they were struggling to even win when they won last year against the Falcons. But this year, it's like pure. So who knows where they're going to be? I mean, who knows if they even make the playoffs this coming season? All I know is that one team's defense was at an all-time high, and the other one, but that Eagles defense, that was crazy. Like I was like, teams really mastered the ability to play football. So that defense was strong. You know what they say? Defense wins Super Bowls. So that's how they got it.
Yes, like my sister said, defense wins championships, and the Eagles have a lot. When I made predictions for this game, I said it was going to be 24-17. You can check that out. Crossover Sports Podcast, episode 69. When I made my Super Bowl prediction, I said that the Eagles are going to give up 17 points, 15 points more than 2 points more than what they've been giving up all playoffs. It turns out I was off by a lot, as my sister Amina texted me already. I was throughout the game. I was off by a lot because both teams put up 74 points, and the Eagles wound up giving up 18 more points to give up. But the defense was. I got to give the devil his due. The Patriots really schemed very well for our defense. Our defense was very worn out. There were times that, Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham were both visually worn out because of the pace of the Patriots and how the play of the Patriots. So I have to give the devil his due. They schemed around it. They double teamed Fletcher Cox. They kept Tim Jernigan and Brandon Graham. They held them in check until the last 2 minutes. Fletcher Cox really didn't have a tackle, I believe. They really kept Tom Brady clean until Brandon Graham got to him. But, other than that, I got to give them credit. Our defense was relatively held in check because of the pace of the Patriots and the way they schemed it. But the Patriots defense, this is what I think happened to the Patriots defense. They were thrown for a loop when Bill Belichick decided to go Bill Belichick and take Malcolm Brown out. Not Malcolm Brown. Malcolm Brown. What's his name? Malcolm Butler out the game. And because he had weed and women in his hotel, that's the rumor. And that's what's being reported. And this is why I think what was going through Bill Belichick's head. If I wasn't a fool, if I wasn't trying to grandstand, we'd have a better chance at the Super Bowl. I set the guy down. I basically set my best quarterback down. That would be like if Doug Peterson said, Ronald Darby, you take off. You're inactive. I'm putting in the rookie. I'm putting in Sidney Jones in this big moment. You don't do that. You don't do that. He put his quarterbacks in a bad position. And whoever that quarterback was, I think it was Stephon Gilmore, he was getting destroyed by Alshon Jeffrey. And the fact that they ain't called no defensive holding, no pass interference, because he was basically dragging Alshon down and everything. But it is what it is. We won. We the champs and everything else. But, hey, what's up, Trey? But what happened to these defenses was, as Andre pointed out, they ran up against some all-time offenses, you know. The Eagles, unfortunately, had to play Tom Brady. And he dropped 33 points on them and 505 passing yards. Now, they held the run game in check, but unfortunately, when you have a 6'6", 200-pound tight end, it's hard to hold Rob Gronkowski in check, you know. But they did a good job. He had 2 touchdowns, but outside of that, he had a relatively quiet game. Just like Danny Amendola. You know, there was a couple of instances where he had a big reception, mostly because Patrick Robinson fell down or something else happened. But the Eagles, credit where credit is due. Yeah, the scoreboard won't tell you that, but the Eagles defense held the receivers. They didn't hold Tom Brady or Rob Gronkowski. But outside of that, nobody really hurt the Eagles, you know. The Eagles defense really showed up. They were tired, but Brandon Graham made the play of the game and forced the fumble. Derek Barnett made the biggest play of his Eagles career by recovering that fumble. And the rest is history. That's what happened to these defenses. The Eagles had to play Tom Brady, unfortunately, and the Patriots defense had no pass rush and had no secondary. And so we did what we wanted to do so that's what happened. And you know, the Eagles, man, they really showed up and showed out. Like, I can't even Nick Foles, all that. Good job. I'm gonna let Trey get it. All right, Trey. The question we're on now, the 2 questions is, all right, I'm gonna give you a chance. So, did the Eagles win it or did the Patriots lose it? And the current question we're on right now is, what happened to both of these defenses? Go ahead, Trey.
Well, as to the first question, I don't like those type of questions. You guys have probably seen on YouTube, there's a video of a reporter asking Russell Westbrook, different sport, but similar, idea. He says, he asks, did the Thunder lose this game, or did the Jazz win this game, or did you guys lose this game? And Russell Westbrook's response is, what? Y'all tripping. And he turns around and just ignores the interviewer. So that's my response to that question is, to me, to ask the question whether the Eagles won it or did the Eagles win or did the Patriots lose it, is kind of playing down how well the Eagles played, whether or not they played good on defense or not. The defense, held the game in check and won us the game. So, but to ask that question says to me that, that the Eagles weren't being aggressive, and which isn't true. Doug Peterson called a really aggressive game. He went for it on 4th down, I think 3 times, and we were something like 12 for 18 when you include 3rd and 4th down. So we were really aggressive, and I definitely think the Eagles it wasn't a matter of the Patriots just not playing well enough to win, because they did play well. Well, excuse me, they did not play well enough to win. They played, they broke some records, but when it came down to it, they didn't make enough plays to win the game, and the Eagles did. So the Eagles played well enough to win, and they made when it came down to it, they made the plays that ended up winning them the game, i.e., the trick play in the first half, going for it on fourth down in Patriots territory with 6 minutes left in the game, and then the Brandon Graham sack, fumble, and then Derek Barnett recovering the fumble. And as to that second question, what happened to both defenses? I think what happened is, to me, I think this actually happens a lot, where you have a good defense goes up against a really good offense, and then the team with a good defense also has a good offense. And for whatever reason, a lot of times you see a shootout in these situations. And I think what happened was, I think we kept going back in man. We kept going into man, and Colin and I were talking about this during the game. If you looked at it in the second half, in the beginning of the second half, Gronk started having a lot of success, and that's because we went into man, and Tom Brady notices that, and so he kept targeting Gronk, and he kept going to Amendola, because he knew in situations in man defense, obviously Gronk is going to win a matchup against Ronald Darby, Jalen Mills, whoever is out there, and then in a situation with Danny Amendola, if you go back through Tom Brady's career as a quarterback, from the time he had Wes Welker until now, Tom Brady and those type of receivers, Danny Amendola, Wes Welker, and what's the other guy? I can't think of his name. Are all, they're all tremendous slot receivers, and they've mastered, what we call the option route. So, in a man defense against the option route, the offense wins, 9 times out of 10. So I think that's what happened with the Eagles defense. I think with the Patriots defense, the Patriots defense, was never good. So the fact that I'm not surprised that the Patriots defense, didn't play well, because, they started off the season, they didn't play well at the beginning of the season, and they played a lot better. So the last 12 games or so, and but it wasn't like you said, it wasn't like you looked at the Patriots defense and said, oh, this defense is really, really good. And I never was afraid of the Patriots defense going into this game. I didn't expect 41 points, but I didn't expect our team to have such, I didn't expect them to have this much success against Patriots defense. But that's what happened. On Eagles side, we kept going back into man, and we didn't blitz a lot, so we weren't able to get pressure. And then either a man or zone, you give Tom Brady time, he's gonna make plays. And you saw when we got pressure on him, you saw what happened. He fumbled the ball. And with the Patriots defense, you knew that was gonna happen. You knew that the Eagles were gonna be able to have success against their defense.
All right, Matt, it's on you. So what happened to both of these defenses? Go ahead and tell us. And before you go, I wanted to tell you that I heard from Reno. He says that he is very, very sorry for doubting Nick Foles, and hopefully he will be on next week to let all of us know how sorry he is for doubting Nick Foles. Go ahead, Matt. Saturday, my bad.
Sorry. Whatever. Look, you saw what I said earlier. This game was going to be a heavyweight fight. And look what it turned out to be. A heavyweight fight. So, here you go. The defense. Look, you just saw two offenses go at it, and the defenses were either stymied or literally they just got outwitted, you know. And as far as a defensive game was concerned, you have Tom Brady versus Nick Foles in that high-powered offense. You can forget it. But I said it from the rip. This game was going to be a heavyweight fight. Now, I didn't expect something like this. I didn't expect a all-out, trading score for score. That I did not expect. However, when you have Doug Peterson, who maintained his strategy to stay aggressive for this game as well, not deviating, from the left nor the right. Say, look, if we got here because of our aggressive play call, why not? And Belichick is Belichick. And, defensively, nobody was doing anything. Nobody. There was just no way in the world any one of those defenses had an answer, because offensively, the scheme pretty much stymied both defenses. Like Trey said, you got Eagles going on man, and you get even things happen there, even going zone and still get burnt. But from what I saw, I was looking at the front seven. That's what I was looking at, particularly the front four. That was my biggest attention. The detail was, and of course, everybody says, if you put pressure on, get pressure on Brady. Put pressure on Brady. Put pressure on Brady. And when you have a good offensive line of the Patriots, that's hard to do. And it was, like Trey said, there was not a whole lot of blitzing going on. And rightfully so, because, you think about this. You blitz, you're giving up something. You're going to give up something, whether big play or big yardage. And also that's a high risk, high reward thing to even blitz. So, I'm a fan of the blitz. I'll make this. Put pressure on them by any means necessary, but you need a front four or a good front to get that penetration. And without an offensive line of the Patriots, that was barely the case. So I think that was a good play call and a good idea on that end. But also, with the Patriot defense, they were getting shredded. Not just in the pass game, but the run game as well. They're getting shredded. You can't sit here and say it differently. They're getting shredded. So when you look at this, I'm still looking through highlights again. The run game, they were getting shredded. The pass game, they were getting shredded. Everybody was getting killed. Boy, it came down to who was going to make the biggest defensive stop. Who was going to do it? And the Eagles stepped up. Because if not, we were going to be trading blow for blow. Think about it. Remember, there was only one punt in the game. There really was no 3 and outs, really. So, and again, this was a classic Super Bowl that I will watch again. Now that I'll watch every Super Bowl now. Now, as an Eagles fan, it feels good. to know that your team are the champs, and no more mean memes about my football team about not having a Super Bowl because we're champs now, and it's not a darn thing you can say about the fact that we champs. We look. All y'all Cowboy fans can suck it and everything else, but you know what? You know what? EAGLES Eagles. Okay, let me stop. But yes,
You won't be at the parade to get it all out.
no. I'm releasing my fury out one at a time. Relax.
Listen. All right. Oh, go ahead. Oh, okay. All right. So moving right along. Now that everybody keep their thing to 2 minutes or less. We'll be here all night. So guys, did Peterson outcoach Belichick? I'll answer that one. I mean, this one can really be a yes or no answer because we really covered how he outcoached him. But yes, he did. And the biggest decision, as I said in my article, this is the plug tonight. Check it out at WatsonSportsTakes.com. The Hungry Dogs versus the Empire. I have 2 articles on it. I have a preview article where I said it would come down to a battle of the trenches. And it came down to a battle of the trenches. And the Eagles' offensive line and defensive line really, really destroyed the Patriots. The Patriots' D and offensive lines. So, Doug Peterson played a better game. He coached the better game. He had his troops prepared. He had them playing loose. Yeah, he outcoached Bill Belichick. We've already covered it in the last 2 questions how he did it. So I don't really have to say how he did it, but yeah, he outcoached them. He took Bill Belichick to school. That's what I can say. Go ahead, Matt. Matt, you there? Matt, you there? Oh. Go ahead, Dre.
What's the question again, Colin?
Did Peterson outcoach Belichick?
Oh, hands down. I mean, I don't see how you could argue any other point. The team that wins is the team that usually outcoaches the other team, unless like one player has like a crazy breakout game. Like, yo, this is so uncharacteristic of this cornerback to play like this. He's shutting everything down. Like he's Darrelle Revis. No, that's not the case. Because the team played well. But why do we know the team plays well? We've heard this from different sources. It's because of Dougie P. Dougie P understands the locker room. The man's been in football all his life. From high school to backing up Brett Favre to being on his own team or to playing for the Eagles. He understands chemistry. He understands just being on one accord. He understands that whole concept. The man's a Christian. We know that. And, he's not ashamed to say it. So I love that about him. He's a man of faith. So it means he's a man of principles. And, we see that he's a good guy. Like he can be hard when he needs to be, but he can be soft when he needs to be. Because right after the meetings, he's like, let's go get some ice cream, guys. Let's go get some ice cream. And that's the kind of guy, I can get with. But, oh yeah, they hands down got lucky. So,
thank you for your visit and have a safe drive.
All right, go ahead, Trey.
I think, I'll say yes. I think Doug Peterson definitely outcoached Bill Belichick in a number of ways. I think Doug Peterson really had control of the game, of the play calling. He really had control of the game. Even when we were going for it on fourth down and you said, I don't know about this, or should we do this? Should we, go for a 2-point conversion? Doug Peterson had control of the game. Even if when we didn't get that 2-point conversion in the first half, you could tell that he had control of the game, and he knew that as a team we had complete control of the game. In the press conference after the game, Tom Brady, somebody asked Tom Brady, I don't know what the question was, but he mentioned that he felt they never had control of the game. Even when, and I agree with him, even when the Patriots had that 1-point lead, I don't really think that the Eagles ever really lost control of that game. It was a 1-point game. The Eagles were down by 1, but they came right back and scored again and took the lead. So, and the other thing is, I think in aggressiveness, there were some times when you look, some play calls with Bill Belichick, you're like, okay, I don't like that play call. What's going on? What are you thinking there? Now they never punted and we punted once. So it's really hard to look at aggressiveness, but I really think that Doug Peterson really did a great job of being aggressive in his play calling. There were some questionable calls or some gut. I won't even go so far as to say questionable. I'll call them gutsy. And I think in the Super Bowl, it takes a good coach, a great coach, and a coach that knows he has control over a game to take a gutsy call and trust his players, to make a play. And that's what Doug Peterson did all game. And another thing that I knew, but I had forgotten about, is that Doug Peterson actually already has a Super Bowl ring. Doug Peterson actually won, as a player, won a Super Bowl with the Packers.
30 Packers.
Right. I think he was the third string quarterback at the time, because it was Brett Favre. I don't know if he was second or third, whatever, because it was him. They had 3 quarterbacks on the roster. You had Brett Favre, obviously, was the starter. Then they had Jim McMahon and Doug Peterson. So he's won a Super Bowl as a player and as a coach. And I think, in my opinion, in that game, what Doug Peterson showed is he's a player's coach. The players love him. Andre mentioned it. The idea of, I want to get you guys in and out of here. We got some ice cream for you guys next door. But at the same time, he knows how to control the locker room. He knows how to deal with conflict but it goes to show that the trick play in the first half. Apparently, Nick Foles actually called that play. He went out because Nick Foles is mic'd up, and it's actually, I just looked at it on Instagram, and Nick Foles actually went up to Doug Peterson during the game and said, said Philly, and Doug said, all right, go ahead. He gave him the okay. Nick Foles goes to the huddle, says Philly special, on 3 or something like that, and they run it and it worked. And to me, that shows, like, you didn't see that with Bill Belichick. On the sideline, you see Matt Patricia and the other, the other positional coaches, they're doing their own thing, yelling at their guys. And Bill Belichick is yelling at people. Tom Brady's on the sideline with his head down. You had the whole thing with the cornerback, Malcolm Buck, over the head. And ironically, the team that always, has a lot going on around them. You had the Aaron Hernandez thing. The Patriots seem to be a team that kind of, even when there's conflict, Bill Belichick seems to be the level-headed type of coach to kind of, push that stuff out the door and get his players ready to play. and it did not seem. It seemed like the whole game. I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but it seemed like the whole game, this whole thing with Malcolm Butler kind of loomed over the Patriots, and I think part of I think from the defense's perspective, the fact that Malcolm Butler wasn't playing kind of got in their heads. And I'm kind of going off the topic, but back to the topic. But it comes down to the fact that I don't think Bill Belichick really did a great job of mentally preparing his players for the Super Bowl, which is unheard of to even think about a coach, a guy that we say is the best coach ever. But Doug Peterson really prepared his guys, and I can't. I was telling somebody yesterday, I can't really call Doug Peterson Andy Reid 2.0 anymore, because the amount of aggressiveness and I can't even explain it. Like, he's a player's coach, but he's aggressive. He takes chances. He knows how to manage the clock. And I don't know, Doug Peterson, man, we got the makings of a dynasty, I think, right here.
We're out here jumping the gun before we even get to that question. Go ahead.
Hey, that's on him, yeah.
Go ahead, Amina. Amina, it's on you.
Yes. I gotta agree with Trey, what he was saying about how Belichick didn't mentally prepare his team for the Super Bowl, which is very odd due to what team they are. But nevertheless, Peterson did. I mean, Peterson showed up with his team, offense, defense. Their hand and eye coordination was on the beam. Their their running down the field ability was A1 on point, and they were just on the top of their game in every category for every position. It was nothing they were lacking. Um, Belichick, I believe he figured, oh, the refs are always on our side. Every time we come here, it's gonna be a regular Super Bowl for us. We're just gonna come in, win the game, and go off with another trophy. Um, they got different refs that the Patriots don't typically use, I guess, and they didn't know how to go about a game with them. Um, for Belichick, for example, I believe that he just gave up. I mean, I understand Butler with the situation with the hotel room and the narcotics. Outside of that, I just don't feel as though he counted on his players. Like, I had never before seen Tom Brady cry at a football game before. I was like, I was watching the whole game. I was like, is he really doing what I think he's doing? He's crying on a field. And there he was. I think he literally went to the locker room after he lost to go ball out. That's what I feel as though he did. Um, yeah, Peterson just showed up, showed out. Belichick, they got derailed. Their plans of winning back-to-back Super Bowls got derailed, and I know when that team got back to that locker room that he had a few choice words of several to dish out to each member of the team. So that's what I think of that.
All right. You finished?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Go ahead, Matt.
Who outcoached who? Who outfoxed who? All right, watch this. Here we go. I say it again. No, I'm not gonna say it again. Let's back up. It was a chess match, basically. It was that's what it boiled down to. And to say Belichick was outcoached by Peterson, that's an argument. That's an argument that can be had. At the same, excuse me, at the same token, Doug Peterson, like, you have to take, look at how the players were prepared and everything else. I do believe that quote unquote coaching decision that Belichick made was a terrible decision because Malcolm Butler was playing over 80% of your snaps defensively. He's been your defensive MVP, he was your Super Bowl MVP last year, I believe, and yet you don't start him or you don't play him. That could be that could have been the thing that helped the Eagles win. And one thing about Peterson, you have to think about this. Some coaches in a big stage like that will play ultra conservative or not be themselves and not do what the same things that they did that got them to the Super Bowl in the first place. However, Doug maintained that. He maintained that, go for it, ballsy mentality. Like, look, my aggressive play calling got me here. I'm not going to deviate to the left, to the right of it. And he trusted his players. He knew his personnel. He knew any game plan for this game. He game planned. Now, I'm not saying that Belichick didn't, because he did the same thing. You all know that he'll do everything to outfox and outsmart you. But one thing about coaching, coaches can get in your head. One coach can get into another coach's head, and your game plan's done. That's what happened to Jacksonville. So they stayed. Ducks stayed on course. So if you look at that, look how the game plan was played, the preparation. The Eagles were basically they were ready for the moment. They were ready for it. They were prepped and ready for it. They were not shocked by it. They weren't, frazzled by it at all. They knew what was going on. They knew what was up. They knew what was going on. They knew it was business. And the way that he coached that team up, look, we're not done yet. The whole entire season, we're not done yet, because everybody bought in. So it was preparation, and I'm not saying one outcoached the other. To me, it came down to who had the ball in the last play of the game. That's the way that game was going. It's going to come down to the last possession. That's where it was going to, and then sure, as we saw, it came down to that. But prep on both sides was pretty good, but I thought the Eagles did a better job preparing for that game than Bill did, honestly.
All right, we'll move right along to our controversial portion. We'll address the other topic on Saturday, but we're going to move right along to our controversial portion of the show. Was Brady a sore loser for not shaking hands? Yes, well, our two questions. So let's just hit these two questions down. Was Brady a sore loser for not shaking hands? And also, why is Tom Brady allowed to get away with not shaking hands while Cam Newton was called a classic thug for doing the same thing? I mean, a classless thug for doing the same thing a couple of years ago in the Super Bowl. All right. So, was Brady a sore loser for not shaking hands? And the other one, why is Brady allowed to get away with not shaking hands while Cam Newton was called a classless thug? Let me answer this. All right. So, was Brady... All right, well, Matt seems to want to jump the gun. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, Matt, before you speak, I gotta call you on your last comments. How the heck you gonna say that Dougie P didn't outcoach Belichick? You can't stand in the middle of the aisle. Pick a side. I hate when people can't decide whether
I'm not.
something is true or not. Are you an Eagles fan? Or are you an Eagles fan? Are you a true analyst? Or are you some guy parading as a true analyst? Come on, man. You said it came as the last possession. Guess who had the ball at? The Patriots. And they did not show up. You know why? Because the Eagles knew what was online. They said, your ass ain't getting this ball in the end zone. Over my dead body, you get that ball in the end zone.
Look. I agree with you, but from a coaching standpoint, it's like this: between Belichick and Dougie P, right? You look. Dougie P knew you're playing against the machine and the system. You knew it, in the way they prepare. I looked at more preparation. That's why I looked at it. Advantage Doug Peterson. The way he knew his players, advantage Doug Peterson. All the way down, it was Doug Peterson. Now, as the game progressed, it was literally a chess match. Literally a chess match. And the edge does go to Doug Peterson. I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm not going to play side. Well, it's clear, let me say, or it's clear, but to me, it was a close call, but I get the edge to Doug Peterson. So I'm going to close the book on that one. Now, here's the other chapter, okay? Number one. Remember the time when, what was it? Super Bowl 50. Yeah, Super Bowl 50. Where Cam Newton was looked at as a sore loser. Remember that Super Bowl? That after the press conference, he's sitting there all sulking and everything else, and everybody called him a sore loser and everything else because Cam always smiling, this, that, and the third.
I believe, not to cut you off, Matt, I believe the exact tone was classless thug. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I was about to get to that. I was to remember that, right? And everybody want him. Everybody go on Cam Newton's case. Everybody in the mind. And you shouldn't be sore loser. All right. Fast forward to a couple days ago, right? He didn't shake Nick Foles' hand. Nick Foles looking for him. Tom dipped out, right? And yeah, of course he took questions from the media and everything else. However, Cam Newton shakes Peyton Manning's hand, and he sulks during the post game conference. Everybody has a problem, but Tom Brady leaves while shaking Nick Foles' hand. It still has a press conference anyway. No one says anything. So with that being said, I think there's a double standard going on here. I really think so because Russ a quarterback. Yeah, I'm pulling the race card here. Yep, I'm pulling the race card. Brother man here, number one for the Carolina Panthers. He's sulking and everything else, but at least he made himself available to the media, albeit you don't want to face the media. You just lost the Super Bowl, the game of your life, and you're gonna feel the way you're gonna feel. It's understandable, but for Tom Brady to slip out of there like a bat of hell, I'm like, I think personally, that needs to be addressed immediately. I missed you, blah blah blah, but something. Instead, you just like, what, you want to go bundle up with Giselle and your kids. I mean, come on now. This is ridiculous. This is stupid. So I think it's a double standard. I really do think so because he's Tom Brady. He can't do no wrong. I mean, yeah, he's the greatest of all time. But guess what? He's 2-1. He's 1-3 against the NFC East in the Super Bowl. So I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear it. I mean, yeah, you got your 5 Super Bowls. Now get the hell out of here.
All right, and I'm going to jump the line and give my thoughts. Yes, Tom Brady is a sore loser, and Matt already covered it, so I'm not going. So I'm not going to take. So I'm not going to go into that side of it anymore, to the cultural side of it. So now I can stick to strictly sports. Tom Brady is allowed to skirt because he is the golden boy, the great white hope. He's the face of the NFL, right? So he's allowed to get away with stuff that if LeBron James did it, and LeBron James has done it, that he's not allowed to get away with because the everyday all American can get away with not shaking hands, but let a black face of the league do it. He a thug. How dare that thug not do what we trained him to do? How dare he not show sportsmanship to the king of the NFL? Well, there's a new king in the NFL right now. His name is Saint Nicholas Foles. You know that? Or whatever it might. I don't even know if it is Saint Nicholas. Anybody got a thing on if his name is Nicholas or is it something else? Whatever. Saint Nick Foles. He's the king of the NFL now. Yes, that man is a sore loser, and it is a crime that we keep allowing him to yell at coaches because we didn't cover this during the season. The fact that this man yells and curses out coaches, and if LeBron James did it, they'd be calling him a thug. If Steph Curry did it, they'd be calling him the same thing. He wouldn't be the babyface assassin. He'd be the light-skinned thug. If anybody else did that, it's a dang crime. But Tom Brady, Mr. Brady, can do no wrong. I am so happy that we knocked New England and Boston off their high horses because they act like they're supposed to win every time. And we're not even going to get to UMass and what they did, destroying UMass Amherst because the Patriots lost. Oh, my goodness. The Tom Brady is a sore loser, and he should be covered with the same equality and the same dragging as I put on my Facebook that LeBron James and Cam Newton were covered with when they didn't show good sportsmanship. Go ahead, Andre.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you. You're 100% right, and I'm totally behind you. We know why Tom Brady can get away with not shaking hands, and nobody really covers it or talks about it. We have to be the ones that cover it and talk about it. First of all, the American media, and I'm not saying all media and journalists, but the ones that really had the true power are racist. This country was built on racism. It's not going nowhere.
45.
It's yeah, you got that right. The commander-in-chief is racist. And he wants to he's that white guy. I got 2 black friends. If you know how many black friends you got, you are extremely racist. What are you counting? Like, no, that's enough. That's enough. This ain't Harlem. I need you guys to calm down. And what was the other question? Well, the other question was, what was the question, Colin? I forgot.
Is Brady a sore loser, and why is he allowed to not show sportsmanship?
He's definitely a sore loser. But I will say this: most people are sore losers, but he's a really big sore loser. Like, you got 5 championships. Are you serious? You crying the fact that you ain't get your 6th one, that you can't just keep bragging like, oh, baby, look at this, baby, look what I did. No.
Tom Brady needs to be punched in the face as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I agree with you. You hit him and I follow up. Like the people were saying downtown when we won the Super Bowl, F Tom Brady. Him and the high horse he came on, and Belichick.
That makes me cry already. It's the fact that I wasn't
it's so
there.
Funny. Those guys are such hypocrites. They're smiling and joking and laughing as soon as they win. As soon as they lose, they got 2 words, they all frowning. Like, like seriously, dude, you just won like how many? You've been how many Super Bowls, how many playoffs? You still ungrateful? Teams should crush them in the AFC. Say you ingrate. Well, you won't make it anymore. We sick of this. What are y'all thoughts?
Dynasty in Philadelphia, woo!
I'll keep jumping the question. We're not to the dynasty question yet. Stop jumping the question. Go ahead.
I wasn't even jumping the question. I was just saying.
Go ahead, Trey.
Jumping questions, my ass.
Well, here's my view of being a sore loser. I think most professional athletes are sore losers, right? I think Michael Jordan was a sore loser. LeBron is a sore loser. Most professional athletes are sore losers, right? This is my personal opinion. People like Michael Jordan, most of the time LeBron, and a number of athletes in the NFL are pretty good at putting on a front when they lose. They may be able to make it clear that they're upset, but without, without showing poor sportsmanship. And so Tom Brady, running off the field without shaking, the other quarterback's hand or any of the other, that's an example of poor sportsmanship. And I'll give you actually an example of why that's poor sportsmanship. In a high school example, even at the high school level, that's considered poor sportsmanship. So I think this is my junior year. Unfortunately, my team was not in this basketball. My team was not in the championship game, and there were 2 teams playing. And after it was over, one team, Tri-State, won, and they were playing another team called Tome. Tri-State won, and Tome decided that they were not going to. Now, mind you, this is a high school environment, so in a high school environment, and then I guess there was, the trophy is awarded after the game is over. It's not like you don't have a trophy ceremony like you would have. It's similar to professional, but so it's not, it's not like everybody's going to the locker room, that type of thing, or the losing team is going to their locker room, that type of thing. There's other awards that are given afterwards. So instead of lining up like you guys all know you do in middle school, high school, that type of thing, and shaking hands, this team refused. They had to stay on the court but they refused to shake hands with this other team, which was just like the epitome of poor sportsmanship. And what Tom Brady did Sunday night was an example of poor sportsmanship, especially in his situation where he's, whether you like it or not, he's probably the greatest quarterback ever, right? Aside from the, even with the cheating and all that, he's probably the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. Has 5 rings, only quarterback with 5 rings. And so my point is, Tom Brady displayed poor sportsmanship by doing that. We know that, right? The difference between his situation and Cam, I believe, is that Cam made it clear that he was upset. He made it clear that he was being a sore loser. Now, the response was unwarranted. There was no reason to call him a classless thug, okay? all you have to do was say that he's sore. It'd be okay if they called him a sore loser, but they called him a classless thug. That's where the media and everybody who had that response went wrong. And the other difference between with Tom Brady and Cam Newton is that Tom Brady, although he didn't shake hands, he came out and didn't, he wasn't sulking and all this, you kind of saw it on the sideline, but that's because they kept putting the camera on. Once the cameras were on his face and he's aware of what's going, after the game, you could see in his face that he was upset about the loss, but you could also tell that he was, he's not like sulking, or he was purposely trying not to sulk just for the sake of the reporter. So, and I think that's the difference you see between Cam and Tom Brady. But I kind of gave, in a way, I kind of gave Cam Newton and Tom Brady a pass in a sense, because I understand what it means to lose, and I believe that most players are sore losers because they hate to lose. It just depends on how you display that, and as long as you don't display poor sportsmanship by like sulking and then not congratulating the other team or whatever the case may be, and in Tom Brady's case not shaking hands, then you express that you're a sore loser rather than almost putting on a front. So I think there's a double standard in the response, I think, because I think we all would agree that in both cases they both exhibited poor sportsmanship. I think the double standard is in the response to their poor sportsmanship. Tom Brady, on one hand, not really catching any flack, as to my knowledge, from the media, and Cam Newton being called a classless thug. And it's clearly because, like Kylan's saying, Tom Brady is, he's as much as you would like to think that, because of the whole thing with Deflategate, you'd think that, the Patriots and Roger Goodell have a poor relationship, but, needless to say, Tom Brady is the poster boy for the NFL, and, unfortunately, he's not going to catch any flack for the fact that he didn't shake hands. Now, some people saw it, Shannon Sharp pointed it out Monday morning on Undisputed, but Tom Brady's not getting called a classless thug. Cam Newton did, and there's clearly a double standard there. And I want to say that it has to do with race, but I also do think that it had to do with the way in which they handled themselves. Cam was sulking, and Tom wasn't really sulking. He just didn't shake hands.
But Trey. A thug,
yeah, go ahead.
There's no need to say thug.
Well, no, I don't. I totally agree with you on that.
That's racially biased when you start attributing characteristics of a person.
Well, I hear you. Like the idea of calling him a classless thug, I think is racist. But I'm saying the response in saying that he's a sore loser and that Tom that's a warranted response on Cam Newton's part and on Tom Brady's part. I'm saying I don't think the double standard, I don't think is not, I don't think it has to do with racism. I think the response by calling him a classless thug, that's racist. The idea that Cam Newton was being a sore loser and had poor sportsmanship and Tom Brady doesn't, or excuse me, the idea that they both have
they both being sore losers.
The idea that
it's tradition in the NFL. It's encouraged as well.
It's not a sore loser.
They're both quarterbacks. from either team come together and shake hands, just like opposing coaches come together and shake hands and say "good game" or whatever you want to say to them. I hate your guts, whatever you want to say.
Uh-huh.
Like, just be a man about it. And it looks really, to me, you say it looks bad on Cam because Cam like emphasizes it more. No. It's really bad because Tom Brady has won. And it's not like he's like his first time getting there and like, it's a lot. He had to go through a lot to get there. No. It's like he's skating to get there every year and he gets every call that everybody
Right.
wants.
Oh, I hear you on that, man.
But here's the thing, I gotta add this one too. But remember this. Remember, Cam Newton did shake Peyton Manning's hand. Number one. So no one said anything about that. But they're griping and complaining about the fact that how he handled himself on after the press conference, and that's where all the
Right.
nonsense happened.
Right. That's what I'm
So
saying. What the double standard is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is Tom Brady handled himself well in the press conference. Cam didn't, and the fact that that's okay is that's just a double standard, right? That has nothing to do with the fact that Cam's black and Tom Brady is white. What to me is the racist part is that because of the double standard, people called Cam Newton a classless thug, and Tom Brady is just still Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, the kiss ass of the National Felons League.
Amen to that.
All right, boys, back to your quarters. We gotta let Amina go. Go ahead, Amina.
I completely agree with everyone's point of view based on this question about the handshake about Tom Brady not even delivering it. It's messed up how one black quarterback did this in a previous Super Bowl because he lost and he was called all sorts of names in the book. But Tom Brady, the great white hope in the NFL, is allowed to pass. It just goes to show a further reason as to why, outside of police brutality, it just goes to show another reason why is that people were boycotting the season. I mean, some diehard football fans I know of various teams have not watched not 1 second of the NFL since last season, the 2016-17 season. This just goes to show like it's us black folks and everyone else. I mean, if Tom Brady were a black man, they would have handled this completely different. But because he's the poster child for the NFL, he gets away with it. He gets to do whatever he wants. No, I gotta agree with the statement that was made that if this was his first Super Bowl experience, it would have been understandable because he'd have been hurt. He got made it all this way, worked so hard. But this is not his first time. This is not his second. It's not his third. It's not his fourth. It's not his fifth. He's been here so many times before.
Eight of them.
Yes, nearly 10.
No,
And
that's a scary thought. Don't do not speak that into existence. If you speak that to existence, I swear to Bob. Okay.
calm down. But outside of that, he's been here numerous times before. It's not like he doesn't have a ring. He has 5 of them. Why are you so greedy for rings? What's up with you?
Well, he's the only quarterback with 5 rings, so you want as many as you can. But
I know that,
you,
but it's messed up. It's not like he doesn't have one and he's a sore loser. He has
but
5 and is a sore loser. And another thing, he should have shook Nick Foles' hand on live TV when they won.
Well, guess what? Nick Foles is going to Disney World. He's the MVP, and he is a backup. But you know what? It is what it
It
is.
don't matter. He's getting that Super Bowl winning check.
That's a nice raise, though. I ain't gonna lie. That's a very good raise.
He's getting a check, a nice, pretty one at that. But anyway, Tom Brady, Tom Brady, what he did, it needs to be addressed on ESPN, SportsCenter, all the major networks. It needs to be addressed because this.
Oh no, because he's a pretty boy. He's
I
a
know
pretty
that.
boy.
That's what I say.
He, he,
I said he's the poster child. But outside of that, is unprofessional. It's disrespectful. It shows poor leadership. No sportsmanship. It's like he's in elementary school, pissed off because he's used to winning a certain award every month in school, but all of out of nowhere, one other student wins and they don't, and you're pissed off because your win streak or something else got broken. Something needs to be addressed. Like this cannot be allowed to go on. Like hypothetically, if he did make it back there again, which no one wants, is he going to do it again to another team's quarterback?
if he makes it back there, we're gonna put his foot up his ass again.
Like, is this going to be a trend of his if he continues to be in the NFL? It needs to be addressed because this is just not only poor sportsmanship. It puts a negative light on the NFL further than it already is.
It's not. Let me tell you something. It's not going to put a negative light because it's Tom Brady. I mean, NFL is not going to do anything about that because it's not an ongoing thing. If it was an ongoing thing, then yeah, they're going to say something about that. Like how we don't know what the hell a catch is. But look, do you know that Roger Goodell ain't going to do jack squat because it's Tom freaking Brady.
But outside of that, it needs to be addressed because at the end of the day, it's not right. He should have been warmly accepting to shake a man's hand that won the Super Bowl.
But it's not a rule, so to speak.
I know it's not a rule, but it's the principle of the thing, and he did not do the principle of the thing. He did not do the principle of the thing. It's not a rule, it's not a law, it's not a policy, but at the end of the day, it's the principle of the thing. You congratulate the person that won humbly, not out of spite, but humbly, and you did not do that. You can't win them all, and you're not going to win them all. And quite frankly, I wish you
retired.
Down,
girl, down.
Quite frankly, I wish he'd retire like immediately because I've never had respect for him anyway. But after this, I truly can never even imagine having respect for him. That's what I gotta say about that loser over there with his 5 cheating rings.
All right, so moving right along, I really would ask the panelists to keep 2 minute or less margin.
Just don't boil bloods up.
All right, guys. Can you think? Here's a happier topic. Can you think of a more unlikely Super Bowl MVP than Nick Foles? Yes, I can. I can think of a more unlikely Super Bowl champ than Nick Foles. The guy who was quarterbacking the Packers for Aaron Rodgers when he got hurt. The guy from UCLA, whose name I can't remember. But Brett Hundley. But all jokes aside, no, I can't think of a more unlikely backup than Nick Foles. If somebody would have told me in August that the Eagles would start 13-3, they dropped 41 points on the defending Super Bowl champs, and if somebody asked me who do I think was the quarterback of that Super Bowl winning team for the Eagles in 2018, I would have said Carson Wentz. But if you would have told me Carson Wentz got injured and St. Nick would come alive and Doug Peterson would coach himself in the Finding 2013 Nick Foles, Man, I would have thought you was lying. But here he is, Saint Nick, delivering again. Yes, he is the most unlikely quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl since Jeff Hockler or whatever his name was. I know Matt'll correct me with his name. Hostetler. There you go, Jeff Hostetler, and who went in for Phil Simms after he got injured. It's just amazing, man. I'm happy. Who would have thought the guy to break the curse on the Eagles would be Nick Foles? You know, and Doug Peterson. They did what Donovan, Andy, Brian, both Bryans couldn't do. They brought a championship to Philadelphia through the Eagles. It's amazing, man. And the story is very unlikely. They'll make a movie about it and probably get Mark Wahlberg to play him because we know he has an affinity for playing heroes in Philadelphia sports, especially when it comes to the Eagles. Invincible. And it's going to be a great story, and I'm happy for Nick Foles. Go ahead. Let's start backwards. Go ahead, Amita. Amina, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was on mute. I gotta agree with you with the Packers with Aaron Rodgers backup or replacement, whatever. That team, they it's a good team. The Packers overall. Aaron Rodgers is supposed.
He was joking with the Aaron Rodgers bit.
I know that, but I'm just saying what he said. I have to agree with. But outside of that, I feel as though if that person, that replacement, pretty decent. They didn't get to the playoffs, but held the team up in Aaron Rodgers' absence. So I would have to give it to him.
You done?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, Trey.
No, to be honest with you, no, I can't. I mean, maybe if Case Keenum, if maybe if we hadn't won and the Vikings won, maybe Case Keenum would be another example. But because ironically, Case Keenum and Nick Foles both played with the Rams under Jeff Fisher, and they stunk. And now they go under a different offensive coordinator who's more offensive minded, and both played very well. But Nick Foles came out on top and got the Super Bowl MVP, and and I think Nick Foles' situation is a little bit different from Case Keenum because Nick Foles, I mean, you guys know, he was on the verge of retirement, was gonna go right to, right on to study and become a pastor, and he still is but after he finishes football, and he ends up not only winning the Super Bowl. It'd be one thing if Carson Wentz is playing, he just ends up winning the Super Bowl after almost retiring, and he won Super Bowl MVP. Think about that, man. Like, he's a backup. Colin Cowherd, I like Colin Cowherd, and then he says some stuff that I don't like, but he made a good point. As much as I love Nick Foles, Nick Foles is a marginal backup quarterback. He's a marginal starter or a really, really good backup. And he's now won the Eagles a Super Bowl. So, it was extremely unlikely. Personally, I didn't believe in Nick Foles in the beginning of the season. I was like, first of all, I was upset that we had signed 4 running backs or 5 running backs, whatever the case was, and didn't sign a third string quarterback because Nick Foles was hurt. I was like, what happens if Carson Wentz goes down and Nick Foles is not healthy, so you got to bring up Nate Sudfeld from your practice squad. But Nick Foles proved us wrong. He proved the doubters wrong, and he won us a Super Bowl.
Dre? Andre, you there?
Yeah, my fault. I was away from my phone. I had to run back to my phone. So yeah, definitely. I'm with Trey. I know I couldn't. I guess my example would be Jimmy Garoppolo. We gonna see what he's gonna do. But Nick Foles, man, you're a bad boy, man. And I disagree with you, Trey. I don't. You don't play in the Super Bowl and become the MVP, and to me, not become a starter. Like that shows to me that you are starter material. Now, do you have to be in the right system? Of course you do. Because we've seen him in bad systems, and we've seen how he's done. But then again, maybe he's has newfound faith in himself, so that'll lead him in times of turmoil, or it doesn't seem like he's going to like the game's going to come out, but he can still do it now. Like he's shown it. Like because the Eagles were losing, they weren't losing by much, but losing by like a touchdown in the Super Bowl, and they still came out and beat him. To me, I definitely think this is the best time if he wants to be a starter for him to go be a starter. But I don't think he wants to. I think he appreciates the camaraderie, the fact that there's so many faith-based men, starting with the head coach, that love the Lord. So like it's like, wow, I want to leave this environment where I'm going to a whole total different environment. And now everybody's looking at me to be the leader. Like it's such a certain different pressure that you get to deal with. They were talking about it on Sports Talk today, and it was really great the way they pointed out. Because soon as he goes there, they could care less that he won MVP in Philadelphia. It's all about what have you done for me lately. So now he has a high expectation to bring this team. It could be like the Cleveland Browns to where the Eagles are, which may be unrealistic expectations, but he took on those expectations when he took over the team. Whereas though he could stay where he is now and potentially get more money, maybe they'll re-sign him to another deal after this year is up. Of course, they're not going to sign him now because they have to still make moves and they still have to do stuff in the offseason, sign rookies. But you got a strong nucleus already, so it's just a great situation. It's a great situation for Nick Foles, and I understand why he didn't say like I want to go, and I'm sure teams will be reaching out, but I'm so happy for the guy. I'm so happy for our team. I think this is a great example of what a team looks like in the NFL when you work together.
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I know I'm crazy. I'm going to take the crazy route. If you're looking for an MVP, whatever you want to call it, we can thank Chip Kelly. Here's why. Remember, when Nick Foles was under Chip Kelly, we talked about 27 touchdowns and 2 picks, right? What Doug Peterson and Nick Foles did together was they looked at the film and the system that was ran under Chip Kelly at the time. And what they did, they incorporated Chip Kelly's hyper active offense and incorporating for their offense, for Doug Peterson's offense, and I'm glad, and this is where good leadership and good coaching comes into play. Instead of, okay, you have to run my system, Instead, it's like, what are you comfortable with? We're going to play to your strength. We're going to play to your ability. And what they did was they went back to Chip Kelly's offense when he went 27 touchdowns and 2 picks, and looked at that tape. It took some ideas, took whatever they took from that offense and implemented it in this current offense, and you saw the benefits that happened. You saw it pretty much against Atlanta. You saw it just wreak havoc in Minnesota, and you saw it the other day. It's basically, you just saw a little bit of Andy Reid, a little bit of Chip Kelly, and it made a baby, and out came this offense. Literally. That's what happened, along with a running game. But if any... Oh, boy. Here we go. But literally, when you're a coach, you have to play... Hush. When you're a coach, you have to know your personnel, and that's the number one thing you ask in anything. When you're a leader, when you're leading a group of people or anything, you have to know your personnel and know the personnel strengths and weaknesses. And knowing, okay, Nick can't run like Carson Wentz. He can't do the same thing Carson Wentz does, but he has a cannon of an arm. So what are we going to do? Look at the tape. Let's see what's going on. And used it to their advantage. It wasn't, is it my system or the highway? No. That's what they did. So if you're looking for a MVP, if you will, other than outside of this, crazy enough, Chip Kelly is your MVP.
All right, y'all, to our other one. Was SB52 the fall of the Empire? The evil dynasty, the Empire. I'll start. Yes, it was. You could see it all. Once the Eagles were up by 12, and once they scored, once Corey Clement hit that touchdown that everybody in Philadelphia, everybody in the church was a touchdown. I'll be honest, praying them, everybody was all like, it wasn't a touchdown. I was all like, it's a touchdown. And then we looked and we saw the grass come up, and I was all like, it's a touchdown, right? Right after they scored that touchdown and they confirmed it was a touchdown, you could see the live shots of Matt Patricia yelling at the defense. Tom Brady with his head down, crying. Bill Belichick all like, what the heck, with his what the heck face. And, it was all over then, man. When the Eagles got that touchdown and Nick Foles threw in the double coverage again, and somehow it got through again, I knew it was our day. I knew it was our night with that. And the Eagle, it was the fall of the Empire, because all that dissension, all the rumors of dissension among the ranks, we saw it. We saw it, man. We saw Matt Patricia lonely on the island coaching up his defense. We saw Josh McDaniels on his own. Bill Belichick just standing to the side asking what the heck is going on, and Tom Brady just being all like, all my manipulation, all my conniving is leading up to me getting beat by Philadelphia of all people. There's an article going around that Giselle, or Mrs. Tom Brady, as Chris Collinsworth called her, disrespectful, that they told their children that he let us win. Oh, yes, Tom Brady. You let us score 41 points on you. You just let us do it, right? It had nothing to do with your defense. That's the type of alternative fat crap that got you as 45's best friend. That's that type of Kellyanne Conway type drug that y'all got. It is ridiculous. Yes, it was the fall of the Empire. We saw it all on the sidelines. The live shots, you just saw it. It's like NBC. It's like somebody, the NFL told NBC, no, you shouldn't have shown that. You shouldn't have shown that. Because every time they showed the Patriots sideline, they quickly went to something else. It was really amazing how they didn't want to see dissension among the Make America Great Again New England Patriots. Go ahead, Matt. Yeah. Oh, yeah. To answer the question, yes, it's the fall of the empire. Go ahead, Matt.
You already answered it from the jump anyway. Look, looking at we see dynasties rise and fall in sports, right? You have to remember, Tom Brady's in his 40s now. He's 40 years old. Father Time gets everybody. It don't matter who you are or what you are. Father Time always win. Okay? I'm going to go out on a limb. Take my emotions out of it. Take my fandom out of it and my pure, unadulterated hatred of the New England Patriots, okay? Which is one notch lower than the Dallas Cowboys. Just one notch. I believe this is the beginning of the end of the empire, of the evil empire that is the New England Patriots. The evil empire that much of America loathes at this point. The much of the evil empire that, you won 5 out of 8 Super Bowls. It's about to be, because Father Time does not lose. And he has never lost a fight. The fact that the New England Patriots traded Jimmy Garoppolo over to the 49ers was a gift for the 49ers, honestly. A gift. And, I look, if he plays another 5 years, God bless him. God bless them all. But I'm telling you right now, I do not see Tom Brady playing another 5 years. And even if he does, Father Time will catch up, because he caught up to everybody that's been alive and have all lived to tell about it. But Father Time in football always win. And now it's up to the Patriots to see what they do post Tom Brady.
Go ahead, Andre. Dre, you there?
Yes, sir. Sorry about that. It is the fall of the empire. Thank you, Jesus. When I tell you.
Oh, boy.
And forgive me for speaking in tongues, because I'm going to let you know, disclaimer, we don't believe in speaking. Well, we believe in speaking.
Let's just keep it moving. Just keep it moving. Just keep it moving.
Believe that there's an interpreter around when you speak in tongues. So,
what you meant to say was the dynasty is over. That's what you said. Like, keep it moving.
I'm so glad the dynasty is over. I'm so glad my team did it. And we shoved it down their throat, and we let them know we wasn't scared. And we went out on media day, and we was lax and chill and taking photos and just having a good time, enjoying the atmosphere. And the Patriots went in like they handling business with their one-word answers, and they wasn't really laughing and joking. Did it pay off, Patriots? Because you've been there so many times that you know what to do to take care of the Eagles. No. You can't stay on top forever, baby. First of all, nobody, even if you working with other evil people, they don't get sick and tired of you after a while.
Not if you're the New York Yankees. That's a different story.
But they haven't won every year either. They've been knocked off their throne. Because there's a such thing as I'm getting paid as well as you getting paid. I have a sense of pride from where I come from and what I represent. And nothing's going to stop that. Period.
Trey?
Well, as I was saying earlier, and I was lauding Doug Peterson, And after actually, I don't know if you guys know this, but Josh McDaniels actually turned down the head coaching job from the Colts. So he'll remain offensive coordinator of the Patriots in the 2018-2019 season. And based on some of the things that we've seen this year from Bill Belichick, the trading of first Jacoby Brissett and then the trading of Jimmy Garoppolo showed me that Bill Belichick, and then his performance in terms of coaching in the Super Bowl shows me that Bill Belichick is starting to check out. I don't know if he's going to check out, and will retire this season, but he's ready to retire. And we all know Tom Brady is 40 years old. So
correction, this off season, season over. We ended it, baby.
So and this dynasty is coming to an end now. And next year, with Carson Wentz, even if he doesn't come back week 1, we'll be back healthy at some point during next season. And especially with, most of the key players on this team under contract through 2020, this team is in a position to really have something special. And the Patriots dynasty is over, I think, and I hope you guys would agree with me. And unfortunately, that means no Super Bowls for the Raiders. Sorry, Amina. But there's a new dynasty that's rolling into town.
Oh man. I'm here to tell you, Trey. The only person that probably would agree with you that wouldn't agree with you is my friend Reno, who you'll probably meet on Saturday. Go ahead, Amina.
That was a nice statement you made there, Trey. That was a nice statement.
Lies.
Hush. Anyway, in regards to the dynasty with the Patriots or whatever they call themselves, they're over. And yes, Josh McDaniels just withdrew a head coaching position with the Indianapolis Colts, which is very emotional right now, I guess, for the Colts fans. I would be in a fit of rage right now if I were a Colts fan. I'm also online looking at Patriots updates on social media, and from what I understand, Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick are having a sit-down private meeting at a restaurant right now, talking about certain things. So who knows what will come about with that? So we'll find out that
Belichick probably like, how dare you meet with Tom Brady before you meet with me? You disrespectful bastard.
And from what I also understand from also looking at online, Robert Kraft gave Josh McDaniels an increased salary for this coming season, which made him decide to not go with the Colts. I guess it was due to finances as well as relocation of his family. But outside of that, yeah, they're over. Like Bill Belichick, I think he only has just this one coming season left in his contract with the team. So he's done. I mean, it was all over his face during the game on Sunday. He was just had a stone cold hard look on his face the entire game. From the time they came out on the field up until the time the Eagles won, he had no life in his face. So they're done. Um, as Matt said, this is the beginning of the end for them, and we will see what comes about with them this off season because gonna have to pay attention to what goes on with the New England because it's gonna be a whole lot of changes coming from that team. But I believe the Eagles on their way to something special, as you all said. Their key players are all under contract for the next 2 to 3 years at the minimum. So they're staying put and maybe they'll go to the Super Bowl again next year in Atlanta. The NFC East hasn't been to a back-to-back Super Bowl in over a decade, from my understanding. So that would be something special as well. But yep, New England, they're done. They're having those secret meetings at dinner tables now. So that'll we'll see what happens with that.
All right, so moving right along, we're gonna hit these. We're gonna hit these questions. Right now, we got 4 more questions to go. We're gonna combine our last 2 questions. Well, we're gonna hit this one. Are the Eagles a flat? And this you could answer by saying yes, they're a flash in the pan or dynasty. Just one word for this: flash in the pan or dynasty. We already know most of the panel's answer. Are the Eagles a flash in the pan or a dynasty in the making? They're a dynasty. Go ahead, Matt.
Neither. They're just consistent. Flash in the pan. No, they're not flash in the pan. I'm not calling them a dynasty yet. They're just consistent. Only we'll wait till next season, see how things rolls about. But as of right now, just shut your face, enjoy this win right now, because Des Perez will happen on Thursday, which I will not be part of, unfortunately. If someone gives me a ticket to fly over there tomorrow, which is not going to happen. But still, just chill.
Matt, the question, just answer. Just answer it. That's all the question.
I need a plane ticket, bruh.
Go ahead, Dre.
I'm so confused by Matt's answer. What the heck was the question?
Are the Eagles a flash in the pan or a dynasty in the making? Matt takes this.
Hands down. First of all, Dougie P comes from. He comes from 2 great examples from Brett Favre and from Andy Reid. 2 men that were committed to this game. You don't stay underneath those guys and learn and not learn that, if we in this, we all in this. We're going to fight to the last, so we don't have anything left. And look at WP's, just look at his career. Like, clearly the man loves football. Clearly he knows football. He took a team that no one expected, except for probably Eagles fans, to Super Bowl and won. You beat the greatest of all time. And I say that very loosely because I don't think that Tom Brady's the greatest of all time or Belichick. Because when you lose, you got an upper hand. When you win and you got an upper hand, to me, you're not the greatest of all time. So call me crazy, call it whatever you want. But the Eagles are here to stay, here to dominate, here to knock down every door, punch every cowgirl fan in the face. And every Giant fan, you are the giant that we saw in the Bible, and we are the David. No, you the Goliath, and we are David. We are in the Redskins fans, y'all just some racist ass fools. Y'all need to change the name of y'all team, and we're going to run through y'all with no problem. But we are here to show you what a real team looks like. To show you what a real fight looks like. To show you what Philadelphians do, baby. We are crazy, but we got more love than any other town you ever meet. We are more passionate than any other town you ever meet about sports. So this is definitely a dynasty in the making. We just started round 1. Get ready for round 2.
All right. Flash or Dynasty? No explanation needed. Go ahead, Trey. Which one is it?
Well, I believe that they're a dynasty in the making because of what we've seen last year and now this year winning a Super Bowl.
Amina, Flash or Dynasty in the making? Go ahead.
A possible dynasty in the making. I see them winning maybe just one more right now, this time.
Okay. All right, Matt. You see that the description. I already know. Your eyes are rolling. And before I even finish this question, do the Eagles have a quarterback controversy? I have to ask the question, Matt. I already know the answer, but the question must be asked. No, they don't have a QB controversy. The starting quarterback and the franchise quarterback and the QB of the next, hopefully, 10 to 15 years is Carson Wentz. Nick Foles is just a very capable backup. He had his time in Philly, and he just had the ultimate wrap up of a career. There you go. Go ahead, Matt. Matt, you there? Oh boy. Go ahead, Andre.
Yeah, my fault now. Is that Matt? Matt, you back?
Right, no, that was me. Go ahead.
Okay. So no, there's no controversy. Hands down, Carson Wentz is our quarterback. He got us there. And those is quick to forget. Just watch the season, watch the full season. Don't just watch the playoffs. And I disagree with y'all. I really believe that Nick Foles is the starter. He just needs to be in the right system with with the right coach and the right offensive line. And I think he's good to go. They got to run the ball. They can't put all. That's what teams, Andy Reid, just keep missing. You have to run the ball. You got to keep defenses honest. You can't just throw. They're gonna sit back there and just pick you apart if you just throw. But if you pose a threat, even if you don't have a good running game, that you're gonna run this down, and they gotta actually stack the box and just stand in there and not allow you to get so many yards, you'll be fine. But Nick Foles is a starter, but he's not a starter for us. We appreciate what he did. We probably gonna build the band statue. We'll always love Nick Foles. He's always got a home area, that's for sure. You want us our first Super Bowl, plus you were the MVP of it, and you did it so beautifully. Oh goodness, there's not a Philadelphia house you couldn't go into right now and say, "Can I spend the night?" They're like, "What? You're in the master bedroom. I'm on the couch. Don't even worry, Nick. You got it." We love Nick Foles right now. And you're going to see that come parade day. I told y'all earlier on the podcast, and Courtney said, calm down. Let's take it one game at a time. I saw the writing on the wall. It was through the whole season. Offense stepped up. Defense stepped up. Special teams stepped up. What's the last time you seen a team play like this? When's the last time you seen a coach like this?
Minnesota.
They didn't have a better record than us. So I failed to see the point with Minnesota. So you gotta tell me teams is putting up points like we are, and got a record like we do. Especially with the expectations as low as they were for us. They said Doug Peterson should have been higher. He should have been our coach. Come on, man.
Trey, go ahead.
I don't think we have a controversy in terms of quarterback. I think it's just it will be an interesting decision that they have to make this season. Um, I mean, my opinion, I think what you have to do with Nick Foles is obviously re-sign him this season because it's looking like Carson Wentz may not be ready for Week 1. So you definitely re-sign Nick Foles. Just on the fact that, just alone on the fact that he won Super Bowl MVP, you re-sign him for next season. And you let him play out this season. If he wants to continue to play for the Eagles, you sign him, a 2 or 3 year deal with him so he can continue to be your backup for the next couple of years. But Carson Wentz clearly, it would like if we were to, have Nick Foles be the starter, he's
No, I'm sorry, Trey. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I had to say this. It was a thought I had. Am I the only one that still wants to see what Nate Sudfeld has? That's why I'm not as scary to let Nick Foles go and let Nate Sudfeld be our backup, because he's shown a little glimmer in that Cowboys game that he can move with the ball and he can throw it.
I hear you on Nate Sudfeld, but I think it would be disrespectful to Nick Foles not to re-sign him, because of the fact that
I totally agree on that. I think you definitely sign him. If he wants to be a starter, you send him to another team.
Well, I mean,
but of course you ask him. He's in the whole
right. I think based on what we know about Nick Foles,
Super Bowl winning quarterback,
he seems like he right. But I think based on what we know about Nick Foles, he understands his role. He even said it. He understands that he's the backup, and he understands that Carson Wentz is the future. And based on what Nick Foles, I think Nick Foles is in a good situation here in Philly because he has a good offensive coordinator. You got Frank Reich, all these guys, and I think Nick understands that if he goes somewhere else where the situation is not as tailored as it is for him right now, then he's not going to be able to succeed. He'd have to be we'd have to be. It had to be very picky for where he goes if he didn't re-sign here. I don't see him not re-signing here this season. Maybe next season he's not here, the 2019-2020 season, but he absolutely must be here for the 2018-2019 season, just alone on the fact that he won us the Super Bowl and it was a Super Bowl and MVP, but as I was saying, Carson Wentz is the future. You can't just throw away all that, that Howard Roseman did to trade up and go and get Carson Wentz. You can't just say, well, now Nick Foles, because he won us a Super Bowl, albeit our first Super Bowl in franchise history. You can't now say that Nick Foles is a starter when you have Carson Wentz sitting there, there was something else that popped in my head and I lost it. But yeah, I mean, there's no quarterback controversy. I think the questions arise next year when Carson Wentz is getting back to 100%. Do you continue to allow Nick Foles to sit in that starting position, or do you throw Carson Wentz in there? Hopefully, they make the smart decision and they say, Nick, continue to let Nick start and continue to let Nick play until you realize that, unless you realize that unless Nick Foles doesn't play well at all next year or he gets injured, you keep Carson Wentz out until he's 100% ready to play. And I think the only way you put Carson Wentz is Nick Foles gets injured, or we're struggling tremendously and Carson Wentz needs to go in even at 85, 90%.
If I may, First of all, why in the world are we? First of all, why are we talking about quarterback controversy? There is no controversy. It's just made up stuff. When we're talking about quarterback controversy, have you lost your mind? Have you lost your senses? You feeding into this mess of a quarterback controversy? You have all of you. For shame of you. For shame of you even asking this question. I mean, for shame of you. For shame of you all. You know full and darn well there's no quarterback controversy because Carson Wentz is the franchise quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles as of right to this point. Yes, he's coming off a torn ACL right now, okay? And yes, according to various sources, he should be back in time for week 1. So he is still the franchise quarterback. So I don't want to hear another word about the fact that Nick Foles should be the starter this time. We've seen this before with various teams when a backup quarterback does basically I don't know his job. Okay, filling in for starting quarterback, number 1 quarterback, franchise quarterback, due to injury. Now, Carson Wentz is coming off a torn anterior cruciate ligament tear. And it's going to require some time to recover from said anterior cruciate ligament tear. Okay? So, yes, if I do not know Nick Foles' contract status off the top of my head at this point. But resign for another year if so. If he's already on contract, let it play out. But at this point, you do not, I repeat, you do not let Nick Foles go at this point because you still have an injured quarterback at this point. I don't want to hear more about some quarterback controversy. There is no controversy. Why you give in to this media BS that is called a controversy? There is no controversy in Philadelphia. There is no kind of quarterback controversy. You done lost your mind. No, number 1 is Carson Wentz. Number 2 is Nick Foles, and number 3 is Suffield. End of story. Don't bring this to my. Don't you ever in your life as an Eagle fan or otherwise bring this nonsense to my presence, let alone my ears. Like, jeez Louise, what is wrong with you? Quarterback controversy? Colin, dude, you have to do a better job with this. Quarterback controversy. Pshaw.
Matt, you already know.
Matt's having a conniption over there.
I sent you a thing that said, "Do the Eagles have a QB controversy?" And then in parentheses, I said, "I know, Matt, but the question has to be asked." The question rolling around on everybody's mind since this thing happened. We know it's Carson.
I saw it. Don't get me wrong. I saw it. It was the fact. Even I've heard it on First Take, Undisputed, and everything else. I mean, y'all done lost your cotton picking mind. We're talking about some quarterback controversy. Get the hell out of here.
Listen, I know he's the franchise quarterback. That's why I said earlier he's the franchise quarterback. Go ahead, Amina. Then we'll hit the title. What is the significance of the title to our city? Go ahead, Amina.
Yeah, I got to agree with everything everyone said, including Matt. I don't believe there's a controversy. I mean, Nick Foles is Nick Foles, and Carson Wentz is Carson Wentz, and other quarterbacks are other quarterbacks. I mean, everybody's an individual. There's no real controversy. In terms of Nick Foles' future with the team, I believe I also have to agree again with Matt what he said about the city just can't let Nick Foles go at this time because Carson Wentz is still on injury leave. He's not been cleared to come back to games. He's limited for little practices he goes to. So at this point, outside of Carson Wentz, the only quarterback the Eagles really have to rely on is Nick Foles. And you don't want to get rid of someone of his caliber at this point in his career because you want Carson Wentz to get back on the field. I say keep Nick Foles for at least this coming year and let Carson Wentz come back later on in the season. And the following summer of 2019 for the 2019-2020 season, then you make a move with Nick Foles and Carson Wentz to see where the direction of the team was going to go. But for right now, Nick Foles needs to be the starter for preseason, training camp, and the regular season. He needs to be the starter. Carson Wentz doesn't need to be on the field anytime soon until he's been cleared by his doctors and physical therapists.
Amen.
Amen.
Preach.
All right. So we're going to hit. We're not going to worry about the future of the Patriots. We'll talk about that Saturday. What does this title mean to Philly? All right. We're going to start with our two young bucks. Then we'll hit our middle ager, and then we'll hit our two old heads. All right. So, Trey, since you're the youngest, you could start with this. Since the last time we had this title 10 years ago, you were about 11. So go ahead and speak on it, my brother.
Talking about me?
Yeah, you're the youngest here.
No, old man Winter.
You're the one.
Well, for me, I was in 2004. I was 7, so I don't even remember 2004.
No, we're about the last time they won I was talking about the last time they won a title. Not.
Oh no.
World Series.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I understand what the question was.
The World Series.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But for me, I was born in Philly, raised in Delaware, but I've always been an Eagles fan. And my earliest Eagles memory is 2008 when they were in the NFC Championship game, against the Cardinals, and they lost. And then since from that point on, that's my most vivid Eagles memories are, and loss after loss, not making the playoffs, making the playoffs and losing. And the thing where we went through with Andy Reid, the love-hate relation, towards the end of his tenure, that love-hate was like, he's done so much for the organization, but at the same time, it's time for, it's just time for a change of scenery. And, then Doug Peterson comes along. We get Carson Wentz, Chip Kelly. I as much as I don't want to, we got to thank Chip Kelly for destroying his team, because if Chip Kelly didn't destroy his team, there wasn't any way we were going to rebuild this team,
Like I said.
But man, like I'm not, I didn't grow up in Philly, but I like this win, this Super Bowl win, literally is changing the city. Like talking to you guys, who live in Philly, and seeing things all over Facebook and videos on YouTube and stuff. Like, this win has literally has changed and is changing Philly, because not only because we didn't have a ring and now we don't have a ring, and you guys know this, that Philly is football is a football town first. It's so for me it's just like when we won, man, when that clock hit 0, it was just totally unbelievable. And when I left the church, when I left the Super Bowl fellowship at the church, I mean, like, the city was just like it. I mean, people were going wild, but like there was this sense of euphoria, like it wasn't real. And I'm sure people are still going through. Y'all are still going through that same thing right now. This sense of euphoria, like this can't be real. Like, and like every time I see a highlight of the game, or I see something that has to do with the game, I get more like, and so when I say that, this it's changing Philly, or it has changed Philly, literally, like the demeanor, I think, of Philly is going to change, because I mean, you had a lot of like bitter Eagles fans, who are, upset and sad. You had a lot of older Eagles fans who had never seen them win anything, and now they finally got it. And on Thursday at this parade, we're gonna see. They're projecting up to 3 million. I don't know if it will be 3 million, but that parade is gonna be wild, because the Philadelphia really loves their Eagles, man, and it's wild, man. I like it for a person, if it means so much to me, for a person who didn't really grow up in Philly. I have cousins and stuff in Philly, and was in I'm on Philly on Sundays, and when I was younger, I was in Philly a lot during the week. But if it means this much to me, I mean, I can't imagine what it means to the city as a whole, and for those who grew up, in Philly, and grew up watching them lose, and grew up watching, back in the 80s, back in, even, so far as to go back before the 80s, when they were terrible. So it means a lot to me, and I know it has to mean a lot to the rest of the city.
All right, Young Buck number 2. Go ahead, Amina.
Oh, before you go, Amina, Trey, it's definitely 3 million people at that party. It's gonna be biblical. What you gonna say?
Anyway, um, where should I begin for this question? This is a special time for my hometown. I was born and raised, born in South Philadelphia, raised in Frankfurt, lived here in the city of Philadelphia my entire life. Um, I was in the sixth grade the last time the Eagles went to the Super Bowl. I was in 10th grade when the Phillies won the World Series. Um, I grew up watching horrible Eagles seasons where they barely won, where they didn't make the playoffs year after year. I I I, I grew up in the era of both Bryant and Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens and Andy Reid, all that. That was my childhood. I know what this team has been through over the years of watching other teams make it far and they don't. This it was coming eventually. I always said that I was going to eventually live to see my hometown win its first Super Bowl. I didn't know it was going to happen at this point in my life. I thought it was going to happen when I was much older. But this city has had faith. I mean, the Eagles are 85 years old. The team, the franchise is 85 years old. To For the fans to come back decade after decade, year after year, and keep getting disappointed but still keep their faith, that's true fan base. That's true loyalty. That's special right there, because not a whole lot of people would stick by with a team like that outside of Philly. It's just beautiful. I mean, a whole lot of older football fans, that Eagles fans in the city that are in their season years of life. This may have been on their bucket list, to see the Eagles win the Super Bowl. and they have something else checked off on their list. It's truly remarkable how this team started out this season on the back of doubts, being called the underdogs, being told that y'all are going to finish fourth, which they didn't. The Giants finished fourth in the NFC East this past season. But to beat all odds, take one game at a time, it's truly a tearful moment. Like when they won, I was brought to tears because this win also goes to all the Eagles fans that have passed away that didn't get to live to see this. This was it February 4th, 2018. Will go down in Philadelphia sports as I think the most significant date in Philadelphia sports history. This is a new time period, a new era on the horizons for Philadelphia sports teams. Hopefully, the good vibes, the positive energy transfers to the Sixers and the Flyers, the Phillies, the Soul, all Philly sports teams to reach their highest potential and go far. Hopefully, this win will encourage them to not accept mediocrity and to go out to show up and show out, have mind blowing seasons, defeat all odds. The future of Philadelphia in sports is very bright, and I believe with this Super Bowl win, the very first one in the city of Philadelphia, is the jumpstart of a new era in the city. An era where the Eagles can no longer be told, oh, y'all don't have no rings, y'all don't have no wins, yada yada. The NFC East is the only division in NFL with rings at this point. The only division. And that's special. The Eagles got the NFC East, the only division with all rings. Eagles should be proud of themselves. And I'm proud of them too.
First and foremost, as Amina mentioned, we want to say rest in peace to those no ring memes. Rest in peace to the Lion King meme where that was making the
And
rounds.
another thing, I have to congratulate Carson Wentz as well. He just proposed to his girlfriend Madison Oberg. So Carson Wentz will soon be a married man soon. So congratulations to you
Very,
and your soon to be wife.
very true.
May God bless your union.
Very true. Now, rest in peace to the Lion King memes that were making it around of what's it like to win a ring, Dad? And we don't know some were not Eagles. Those were spread by some Cowboys fans. And now we can say, hey, Cowboys fans, at least we don't need a VHS tape to watch our last Super Bowl win. I got them. And to say what it means to the city, since we're going in age order, to say what it means for the city, man. As somebody whose Eagle memory was watching Bobby Hoy. Was it Bobby Hoy? Man, help me out. It was Bobby Hoy, right? Whose first Eagles memory was watching Bobby Hoy and the Detmer brothers and those terrible Eagles teams before Donovan McNabb came because of how still in my 20s, but I've watched a lot of bad Eagles teams. So I remember that my first Eagles memory was watching Bobby Hoy and them just made me ashamed to ever watch football again. Then I had both Detmer brothers. And then it was Donovan McNabb. And for the first time ever, we had success. 10 straight years of success. and one Super Bowl appearance. And that was my first Eagles bear. I remember never being more excited in my life, even though I had to go to church and miss most of the game. Never being more excited in my life to see the Eagles in the Super Bowl. And I was just so excited, even though they wound up losing. It was heartbreaking to watch them lose, too, by 3 points. Watching Brian Dawkins and them not be able to stop Tom Brady and the Axeman and everything. And for this team to do it, man, when I tell you I lost my mind. Man, I was with Trey and Andre, and we were just wilding, man. When they scored that touchdown, when Zach Ertz scored that touchdown, I took Andre's side, and we were doing laps around that party, man. And when Brandon Graham got that fumble, I was behind that screen jumping for joy, rolling on the floor. I was doing everything. I had half my voice and was asking for hot tea. And by the time they won, man, euphoria. This is the first time that I'll actually be in my city when a team wins a title. Because when the Phillies won, I wasn't in my city. I was in college. I couldn't get back to celebrate the Phillies win. But for the first time in 10 years, I'm in my city. I'll be there Thursday with Trey and Andre. Matt will live stream it for you. We gonna be there. We ain't gonna be square. We're gonna be right there celebrating with our team, getting our free Budweisers. We're gonna be doing it all, man. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be an epic celebration. Yo, Trey alluded to me that we are so united as a city, man. I've never seen so many people united in the city, man. We've been happy. We haven't been pessimistic. I knew it was real when I came home and my dad was still up. Trey and I joke about how our fathers go to bed at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. My dad was still wide awake, jumping around the house when I got home at like 10:40, close to 11 o'clock. Man, these are the moments, man, where you have your father, son, mother, daughter, your family moments, and everybody's just celebrating the Eagles, man. The Eagles brought generations together. The Eagles took away the football pessimism of my father throughout this whole season. The Eagles made a man that has seen so many championships. He's seen the Sixers championships. He's got to experience the Flyers winning title. This is the first title where I've seen my grown father just running around the house, jumping for joy, doing the chant. Never done the chant in his life. Was doing the EAGLES right with me. Man, the Eagles have united the city. This is a great feeling. I can't wait to celebrate on Thursday. I'm off work, so I'm definitely going to go wild on Thursday. I cannot wait, man. This city is united. Let's go. Fly, Eagles, fly. Dynasty. We're going to keep it going, man. I'm calling it down because this will be my last time speaking before I turn it over to the old heads. We're going to get that. I'm calling it down, so y'all better pay attention to my free agent picks because I definitely called our wide receivers and our running backs. I was one of the only people in sports media calling that the Eagles were going to sign Torrey Smith, Alshon Jeffrey, and LeGarrette Blount. Run the podcast back from last year if you don't believe me. And I'm calling it right now. We're going to get Dez Bryant as our second option, Alshon Jeffrey. Put Aguilar in the slot. I don't know what we're going to do with Torrey Smith, but we're going to do something. And we're going to get Malcolm Butler. Call it. I'm calling it now. You can say you can roll your eyes. You can say I'm lying, but just remember, Torrey Smith, Alshon Jeffrey, LeGarrette Blount. I was the only one calling for it. Trey, Andre, Matt, and the media will tell you that I was the only one that got their free agency plans all the way right. So pay attention when I say who they gonna sign. I just got a feeling that that's who they gonna sign this year. Go ahead, Andre. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Actually, Andre's older than me.
Oh, Okay, well, go ahead, Matt.
Believe it or not, I mean, I could go as far back as Rich Kotite, and his coaching was terrible. Oh God. And I mean, I was kind of on board or not on board. Well, long story short, I mean, I've seen Randall. I see Randall. I've seen Rodney Pete and how his knee got buckled and busted on that stadium turf. I've seen it all. And even growing up, you're an Eagles fan, but you know, you kind of get looked down upon from everybody else because everybody else is Cowboys fans, 49ers, everybody's with winners and stuff like that. But you're an Eagles fan. You hold on. You know, as I was watching I was watching Super Bowl. I mean, even uh, days before the Super Bowl going into it. I mean, it was a different feel. It was a different feel versus Super Bowl 39-04 versus this year. That the 04 team was, everything led up to it. I remember I was in college when the last game at the Vet. Us, me, my roommate, and everybody from Philly we was in our room watching that game. I will never forget. Ronde, like, we were marching down the field and Diamond throws a pick and Ronde Barber runs down the field. I would tell people all the time, I can still see Ronde run down the field. I don't see it anymore. I don't see it. I don't see that game anymore. It's not in my head anymore. That Panther NFC Championship game, the Cardinals Championship game, the Rams, that's different. But even Super Bowl 39, all those games got washed away when we won it. You talk about, a weight lifted off of fans' shoulders. A weight was lifted off everybody's shoulders. It's like, finally we got one. It took us 57 years to do it, but damn it, we got one. And we hope that we get another one of these. Yes, I mean, I was at that '08 parade for the Phillies. I was there, and for those of you that wasn't there at the time, I can tell you right now, if you think '08 World Series parade was big, wait till you get a load of this one. Unfortunately, barring a miracle, I find my way in Philadelphia on Thursday, which I don't think will happen. I'm gonna watch it. Barring a miracle, that parade on Thursday, I can guarantee you, it's going to be bigger than '08. I can't imagine. I can only imagine what it's going to be like. I can only imagine what it's going to feel like, and unfortunately, I won't be able to be there. I mean, of course, I'll watch it on the KYW feed and everything else. But
you picked a hell of a time to leave, man. You better be with that girl forever.
Well, she was with me. She was supposed to be watching the game with me. So but she even shared it on Instagram at Creole Soul 2008. She and we're in a trailer park, and I'm like, she told me to keep it down. I'm like, I can't keep it down. I really can't, because come on. You got Cowboys fans coming at you there and saying, how many Super Bowls you won? Now you say, we got one, and we plan to get more. So my thing simply is, for Philadelphia, it's a weight lifted off our shoulders. It's the fact that we finally got one. The Eagles finally got one, and And basically, it's worth it. It is very worth it.
Man, tell the truth. Tell the truth, man. It was great when the Phillies got it. This is just something different because it's a football championship. And the one thing I've always said about Philadelphia, to Matt's chagrin, even to his face, is that Philadelphia is a football and a basketball city. It means more when the Sixers or the Eagles win a title than it does when the Phillies or Flyers win the title. Now, listen, it's always great when a Philly team wins a title, especially one of the four. But let's be real. When it's the Eagles and the Sixers, it just feels a little different in comparison to the Flyers and the Phillies. That's no knock on those teams. It's just the way Philadelphia is. It's a football and a basketball city, and the rest of those sports later. We're not going to argue that. I'm going to let Andre go, and then we're going to get out of here. Go ahead, Andre.
I apologize. What was the question again?
What does this title mean to Philly? / you.
You said, what does the saga mean to Philly?
Yes, what does this title mean to Philly?
Everything. You know, there's so much in the day-to-day life as being a Philadelphian. You know, you hit with so many taxes and so much BS, the politics. You need to escape. So the Eagles being that escape, and now they're on top, gives you an extra pep in your step. It makes you feel like you can make it through the day because you got some sense of pride from a team that you root for. You know, some people might say silly is just a game, and why do you put your hopes in that? I would argue that everybody has their outlet, and whatever it is, like you can't discredit my outlet because it's not yours. Like your thing might be music. I might think it's silly because music is run by big corporations, and they have a certain genre. They have a certain way of putting the music out. It's not even authentic anymore. Like the musicians aren't able to write the way they feel or express. They want to express. You know, you might be into art. You might be into travel. Somebody be like, I don't see the point of spending all this money to go somewhere I don't live and come back and I just got dreams about it. I'd rather build up where I live, and so you can't discredit what we do and what we love. You know, everybody has their thing. So this saga to us is better than words, man. It's just, yeah, it's that. It's that feeling that, like those Eagles commercials. If you watch those, it's so well done. Like this is Philly, and they show the city. They got the skyline shot and the bird's eye view. You know, it's just, just from the rough streets to the great center city to the hard working everyday blue collar person. It's beautiful, man. Like, yeah.
The best way to sum this up before we go is this brought our friend, who four of us know. Amina only knows him by reputation, and she's met him once on Facebook. But it brought our grown man friend who got a very white level voice, Kevin, to tears. That's what this did, man. This is so important to the city. It brought a grown man football player to tears. It brought all of us to tears. It made us all feel like kids. We were running around doing laps.
So many things are crying about this.
I had no words. I couldn't even speak for about a half an hour. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I wanted to cry or anything. I don't know what to do with myself.
Listen, there's so many emotions. I mean, really, we could have a whole side podcast about where we were, how we were feeling, how many laps we did around our houses, apartment buildings, or wherever. We could talk about the different friends that all of us have that were crying, grown man tears, how much Meek Mill was played as we went home. We could talk about so much, man. This means everything, man. Y'all gonna see various pictures, various live streams. We're gonna have to get the plans together of where we're gonna meet, where we going, whether we're going to Broad Street or going to the Art Museum. We're gonna have to get this together. But I want to thank Matt, Amina, Dre, Trey, and everybody for coming out on a Tuesday night for these special podcasts. You know, like I said, we're getting into the meatier part of the sports season. Got the trade deadline coming up. We might do a show about that one because we did one last year about the trade deadline, even though I don't expect any big moves to be made this year in the NBA. We'll see. But, you know, I am so excited that we can do this, that my friends can come out and not find the robbery to spend a Tuesday night talking about the Super Bowl and the Eagles. Makes it a little bit better when we're talking about the Eagles. So, yeah.
So man.
We're so excited. Fly, Eagles, fly. Like we said, Thursday is going to be epic. I really, really hope Matt can come, man. Because it's really our second championship in all of our lifetimes. Because we all were alive for 2008, and it's our first Eagles championship. Hopefully, the first of many. Thank you all so much for listening to our excitement and getting this Philly perspective, this young millennial Philly perspective. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of the week. Definitely look out for our Thursday coverage and our live streams at Kyler W. Watson. Be my Twitter, and you can find mostly everybody on here via my Twitter. So definitely look for us. Have a great rest of the week. Deuces.
EAGLE.